It's Michelle. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have sketch number 7 from Scrapbook Generations, one-page hexagon sketches designed by Allison Davis, and I am playing along with my friend Sara at Sara Scraps. I will have her channel listed down below. So I've gone ahead and punched out a bunch of 2-inch hexagons with my large hexagon punch, which I love this thing. I think I do also have a hexagon die about this size, and it would have been nice, but I was kind of in a hurry. I just wanted to punch. I didn't want to run through my die. So I took a bunch of papers from the Memory Lane collection from Close to My Heart that is available through the end of September or while supplies last. And I really love it. I think these plaid papers are from a mix-in that matches it. It uses the color melon, which is like a peachy color, and it was the color of the year for this past year. So anyway, and then this right here is a zip strip cut into to make it 2. So I'm going to put you on fast forward, and I will be gluing everything down. And my plan is 2 plans. This is an old photo from 2001, and it's really dark, right? You can barely see my daughter, and that she has her doll and her cat, and she's on the couch. So she's obviously sick, and I'm going to try to scan it in and lighten it up. And the other thing I plan on doing is I'm going to glue all this down up here at the top, and then I'm going to cut it off, and it'll be a panel that I can then add to a 12 by 12 layout. Then I won't have to worry about centering it. Also, I'm going to sew some on this layout. The sketch shows a few of the hexagon stitch, and I believe I am going to, instead of hand stitch, I'm going to get my sewing machine out. So let me get started. Okay, so I move everything down to the edge of the paper, and I glue down first the branding strip, the zip strip, and then I start with the center hexagon, thinking that would get everything even, but it wasn't quite even, so I had to adjust it a little bit when I got to the edge. So after I get all of that glued down, then I'm going to take it into my paper trimmer, and I'm going to trim off the excess white. I think it ends up being about 6.5 inches wide. Even though I used a hexagon punch, I fiddled around with a couple of the hexagons that didn't fit in quite right, and that was frustrating me. I mean, how does that work when everything looks straight and plumb? I've got a hexagon that has a little bit of extra space around it. I'm not sure how that works, but anyway, I decided to here I am trimming it. I decided to give up on perfectionism. I will never get a layout done if I'm always a perfectionist and trying to be have a layout as perfect as Allison Davis layouts. So here I am on my, hey, I could use some of this paper that I punched the hexagons out of. I hate to waste it. Although I have a bunch of this paper, I don't know why I was being so chinchy with it, but so I had to actually piece it together there in that bottom right corner on this peach colored paper, which was fine. And then the yellow was didn't have hexagons punched out of it, but then the green did. So it's all good. It's all good. All right, so just triple matting that photo to give it some color around it. And by the way, I did scan that photo in. I tried to take a photo of it and then just edit the photo of the photo, but it's a glossy photo, and oh my goodness, it didn't matter where I was, I got a reflection. And so we have a new printer. It's not a fancy printer, it's a Hewlett Packard, and sorry about the background noise. That's Mr. Finley barking at a plane flying by. I ended up scanning it in the photo printer with my HP app on my phone, and that turned out well. And then I tried to use a preset I have in my Lightroom app, but in the end, I just fiddled around with it in my Photos app on my iPhone, and I feel like it looks better. It's not perfect. And I did end up cutting it down to 3.5 by 5 just to make it a little bit smaller. I don't feel like I was cutting off anything significant. And I did cut off that date stamp that I used to love on my 35mm camera, but that I ended up hating. So I cut a couple of tags and I put that at the top. What happened is I actually reversed the sketch. It has the photo on the bottom right, actually a couple small photos. So because she's facing to the right, I moved the photo to the left. So then in the upper right, which it was also showing a couple of small, like 2x2 photos, but I didn't have any more photos, so I just made tags. And here I'm looking through my white, kind of like scrap dies, and just looking for basically a cluster base. And I have that metal die there. You can see the doily die, and I'm thinking about making a die out of it, making a die cut out of it, but I'm getting lazy because I was going to machine stitch on this layout, and I did a couple of hexagons, and my tension is off, and I didn't want to mess with figuring it out, so I ended up hand stitching. So that took a little bit, and I was a bit on a time crunch to get the video up, so I decided not to cut out that doily, and I found a smaller doily that I could use down there as a cluster base. And here I am just fiddling with some of the stickers off the sticker sheet. I also didn't feel like stamping. I did stamp on my other layouts using this paper collection, but today I just wanted to use stickers and die cuts. So there I have the smaller doily, and it probably would have been better at the bigger one, but like I said, I worked with what I had. And so I also get out my foam dots that are now retired from Close to My Heart, and I'm like really sad about it because I love them, but I still have a few, so I like to add a little dimension. Also, I ended up finding these kind of wood grain branding strips with the flower scrolling pattern on it, and that's from an older collection from Close to My Heart. I don't know if it was Hello Lovely. It was something. I found it, and I was trying to follow the Scrap Timber Day 21 prompt, which was using wood grain on your layout. So I actually had pulled out some wood veneer, and I ended up not using it, but I did decide to add in those wood grain zip strips. I think that adds some to it. And here I am writing my journaling. This is a photo of my daughter lying on the couch with her baby doll covered in a throw, and her cat Sara is sitting there with her. So, you know, I don't remember a whole lot about the photo other than she's I assume she's sick because she's lying there with her doll, and I think she's probably got a cup of something behind her to drink. and I came across it and I just wanted to scrapbook it. Here I am pulling out the brand new white acrylic titles, and I'm thinking I want to use the word sweet and maybe memories. Well, the word sweet fits, but memories doesn't. And I probably could have made it work, but I put it back up and I decided I just wanted to use the word sweet, and then I'm going to use part of a sticker that says life. So here I'm just still figuring out where I want that word sweet. And I like that I put those acrylic letters on the Pioneer, the photo album that has the sticky on it, and that way it was easy to find the word, and I didn't have to dig through the little bag that they came through. So that's a great tip. I really enjoy storing my embellishments on those photo album pages. Here's where I decided sweet would be up there with the tags. And then I just have that little bitty part of the sticker that says life. I could have stamped something, but I really just wasn't in the mood. And sometimes you got to work with what you have, right? And I had that life. I think it was Life Adventures or something like that. And I cut off the adventures part. And I do end up putting that little sticker up on a little bit of foam tape to give it a little bit more oomph since it's so small. Let's see, so there I am cutting the tape and putting it on there, and I think it looks good. You know, sometimes it takes me days to make a layout, and I'm like, I do not have time. I will never get these photos scrapbook that I want to scrapbook, and so I'm trying to just sorry about that. My recording cut off because my phone went into low power mode. But what I was saying is I'm trying to just let it go and just make the layouts and get them done and not worry so much about them being masterpieces. I don't know if anyone else struggles with that, but I sure do. So challenges always help me, and this challenge was Sara of using every sketch in this Hexagon sketch collection. It motivates me, and it also challenges me to use this paper that I really want y'all to see before it's unavailable. It's not what I always gravitate to, the lighter, more muted pastel-y colors, but it's beautiful. And I could see me using it like in my daughter's baby book, and yes, she's 30. Making baby cards, maybe Easter, spring photos, or even just like a layout like this, a photo I found of my daughter sitting on a couch looking so sweet. So, and here I wanted to show you that I really wanted to use sequins. I've been really inspired by Jessica Michaels lately and her channel. She's so talented, and she uses a lot of scattering of sequins, and so I don't really have a huge collection of them, so I went looking and I found some that I feel like match this layout. One is they're both from Close to My Heart. One is like Julep, and it's from an old, that's an old color of the year from a few years ago. And then the other is from a craft inspired collection we had. And I can't even think what it is, but it had all the multicolors in it. And so I found peach, even though there is also pink. And I found this blue and like white or clear little hearts, and also the yellow. So I felt like that worked, and so I used them basically instead of enamel dots. But I went to look on my website, and the melon sequins are still available, so I put them in my cart because melon actually is what's in this collection, and so I need those sequins if I want to keep using sequins on my layouts. There I decided to put the journaling to the left of the photo, and let's see, so I just made a little cluster to the right. And I appreciate you stopping by today and watching my video. Please stop by and see Sara's. Have a great day.